God Science. What's up, G? How you doing, brother? I am Manessa. What's good? It's good to be on here. Thank you for joining in. We got two or three gathered. That's enough. Uh, let's get it in. I'm driving on my way to the library so I can go do some work. So I wanted to just chit chat for a minute. First of all, it's about the Kabbalah, and let's just first start here. Why does it even matter to even study this? What's going on, Brother Williams? Slow motion, but show motion, brother, and that's what matters most. Show motion. How you been? So why would it even Islam King T, peace, shalom, right? Oh, you say the hoodies? Oh yeah, Texas, extreme weather. Why does it even matter to study Kabbalah? Because, and I'm just saying this because it used to be so, I've said this time and time before, but it used to be so intimidating to me because it always just seemed I don't know, just like it was just unattainable. So there are rewards for putting effort into things, and not just effort, but intelligent effort. And so I just want to share some of them just in case somebody is interested in studying this very vast subject, which is you. That's why it matters to study it. It's a template for how energies interact, intermingle within your own being. Okay? So it goes from just being a rough diagram on a piece of paper to actually being a diagram of energies that function outside of you and which correspond with energies functioning inside of you. Okay, one of the keys to studying that I've found first is to understand. If you're very curious like I am, you're going to want to pick apart everything. So I was wondering, well, does each place or numbering have a significance? You got 10 Sephiroth. Is there a significance to one being numbered this and one being, and I used to get hung up on that. I stumbled across something one time reading in something called, I think it's Wycliffe Bible Encyclopedia. And it said about, in the Hebrew language, it says that the word for one in Hebrew is an adjective, which is, the word is ached. So ached is an adjective. And the words for 2 through 10, I think, are nouns. Now, if you just take your basic understanding of English grammar, you know that an adjective is a modifier, okay? And a noun identifies a person, place, or thing. Or we can say a state. So we see then, if we apply that to this tree, that one, it's not important to look at each number, but to look at the categories of numbers because they're place markers. So one tells you that it is the modifier. And all these other numbers are states. Now before the one, which is Kether or the crown, you have the, what's up, Dap Dunlap? What's good with you? Before you have one, you have 0, and that's what they call the Ein Sof, or the what's behind the veil. It would be associated with the number 0, or the numeral 0, or the place That's not even a place marker. The concept of zero. Zero is a concept, if we want to even give it that. Try to put it and use our language to describe it. It's the all potential, you know. So if we want to understand what Kabbalah is, first of all, this energy that becomes the number one, once it starts breaking up, we have to say that that is a degree of suffering, okay? It's a degree of suffering because it keeps getting split and split and split, but it wants to do this to know itself. Those same energies or that same phenomenon that is going on within us. Splitting. So we study Kabbalah, you study the different spheres, but you also study the relationships between the spheres so that you can use this as a GPS system to find yourself in your everyday, even in your everyday mundane life. It can become a practical tool to use. Now, okay, I'm going fast here, but another key. If you get the right books that talk about Kabbalah, one thing, we got Low Key in the house. What's up, G? One thing we got, if you get the right books that talk about Kabbalah, they'll give you a secret. The secret they'll tell you is etymology. You have Dion Fortune says it. You've got her, I don't want to say protege, but her, he came after her, was William Gray. William Gray and Dion Fortune come out of the same school of Kabbalistic studies, okay? They also are, we could say they're closely related to a lady named Corinne Helene. Now, Corinne Helene was a big time money. She came from the Duke family. So you want to get her material because she had access to stuff that common people didn't have access to, because she had money, endless money. Okay? All right. One thing that these people, there's a little nugget they'll give you, and they're not going to go in depth about it, but they're going to say, a practitioner of Western occultism would be well advised to study etymology. I've read it in several different instances. They say it. They don't go any further. Your job is to pay attention and pick up on that. This is about learning how to learn. Kabbalah really is an exercise in learning how to learn. And as you learn how to learn, you act out what the word really says. The word Kabul, QBL, means to receive. Okay? But to receive, you have to learn how to learn. When you get a code like that, when they mention that little brief, and they say it very briefly, oh, etymology, they ain't gonna beat you over the head like I do, but they just gonna throw it out there. When they say that, something clicked in me one day, and because when you read Kabbalistic books, they're gonna break down each sphere. You're gonna get basic information. They're gonna tell you, oh, the sphere of Netzik correlates with victory, and it's the naked woman. The sphere of Hod correlates with glory, okay? Now, this is what you're supposed to do, because they've already told you that the Western occultist needs to study etymology. What you're going to do is then you're going to go and look in the etymology of the word victory. This is just giving you an example. You're going to look at the etymology of the word glory. You're going to read other texts, because in one Kabbalistic book, they may say Hod applies to glory. Well, guess what? You can't find a whole lot of information on the etymology of glory. But another word that they use to describe Hod is splendor. And you can find a whole bunch of information about splendor. Okay. Now, this is not just intellectual masturbation. I'm about to give you an example of how studying etymology, then I got to go. I'm going to give an example of how studying etymology is important for understanding Kabbalah. And the more you can understand this Kabbalah, you're understanding yourself. It's like studying astrology, psychology. You know, these are all tools. Shit, I think I left my notebook, but I just have to find it in here. I was looking up the word bear. That's what it was. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you. On the Tree of Life, Spears, I don't know if it's sphere or spear. Spears 4 and 5 respectively are Hesed and they are Gavora. Okay? Now I was looking for something else one day. I was looking up something one day and I wanted to look at the word bear. The word bear, as in, you know, bearing a burden, it's a very pivotal word to really look at, focus on, and understand. Just period. But what I discovered when I looked up the word, it says bear, Middle English, barren, Old English, barren, akin to Old Frisian, bearer, Old Nordic, bearer, Old High German, barren. And it says correlates with gebären, give birth to. Now that clicked in my head because it automatically clicked because I know there's a spear on Kabbalah called Gevora. Now, from already previously studying language, I know that many times the V and the B are interchangeable when you're looking for, you know, transitory relationships between words and languages. This is V, B. You know, they're very similar. You know, it's like you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're spelling something with V. Typically you have to say V as in Victor, so they'll know I'm not saying a B. Okay. So when I read that the word bear correlates with gebären, okay, I go back to the tree and the fifth spear is gebären. And okay, they said that now when you read the books, they just gonna tell you, well, Gevora is strength or it's severity. That don't really tell you much. In the front of your brain is saying, oh, it's saying it's gonna be something hard. You know, we think in terms of bad and good because that's the way we're conditioned. Oh, it's something bad. It means something, you know, stressful is gonna be happening. But there's more to it than that. It's deeper. If bear traces back to gebären, and it says to give birth, well, that's what Gevora is really talking about. The stress, the severity, the strength is about, to really understand it, you have to think about childbirth. You're bearing a seed. And if you think about what a woman goes through, for men, what we observe, because we don't really know, we just can observe, but I've observed they have back pains, they have swelling, they have joint pains because their hip floor is getting pushed out, their pelvic floor is getting pushed out because this baby is moving down. As that head starts to turn around and point down, she really gets all this pressure down on her bladder, and she got to pee every 2 minutes, and it's the woman's going through hell, but she's having to build the strength because she has got to nurture and take care of this baby. Gevora, birth. Now, corresponding to Gevora is Hesed. It's spelled Chesed in some accounts. Well, another word for Hesed, and this is why you study multiple different sources, because you'll find that another word for Hesed is Gedula. Now, again, In ancient times, a woman always had something around her called wet nurses when she was going into labor. These wet nurses are called doulas. Now, when you just read these books, the book is going to tell you that Hesed is compassion, okay? It's going to tell you that Gavor is strength and severity. But when you go into what I'm telling you right now this kind of hits home. You got something that's very practical for you to really see what this energy is about. One is about a necessary function of life. You know, labor. The woman going through labor and bearing a child, it's no getting away, it's no getting around this. It is what it is. That's the way a life gets into the world. But the mercy is the wet nurses who are there, which is Gedula, to help the mother have the comfort she needs to get through the labor process and to give birth. And sitting beneath Gavora and Gedula is a spear called Tifereth. 6. Tifereth is now here you can go on and really look at the number 6 and I'm contradicting myself. That 6 is there for a reason, because that 6 represents the Star of David. 6 points on it, right? David is the child that is born from Gavora and Gedula. Kabbalah can help you and your mate have a more cohesive relationship, because it is not just abstract concepts. They are states that can be applied on every level. I have a story to tell. I don't have time to do it now, but I'm going to come back. Next time I can get on here, I'm going to talk about a real life story of Gavora in our life, our life, me and my wife, our family, our life, a real life story. And you don't know that you're going through this at the time that it applies, because I didn't understand Kabbalah at this level at the time that we went through this. But as I look back, oh man, I'm just going to leave you with this. Bear, the word bear, is same as the word barren. Now, barren means to be void, to be empty, to be desolate, lifeless. Ain't it funny that the same root word that means something terrible is also the same word that means bringing life, a new life into being? Right now, the earth is going into its barren phase. And that's why Venus, which rules over Libra, Venus, vain comes from vac, which means empty. Venus it's the time where the emptying starts to happen, so that the birthing process can occur on the other side of it. It's some beautiful stuff. It's beautiful stuff. You know, there's rewards for taking the time to labor, to learn, to keep mulling over stuff. And we'll come back and talk about this later, but that's just something to put on your mind. Kabbalah is not just an abstract thing of just, you know what I'm saying, just because that's how it was kind of the idea I had when I first encountered it. You know, it's this idea that the things that we deal with in our day-to-day lives should be tossed aside because they really don't matter, and we need to be pressing. But why would we be experiencing just life, period, if it didn't matter? And so by continuously digging into this stuff, when I have a chance, you know, they have provided some jewels. That's all the time I got. I haven't even touched, this ain't even the tip of the iceberg. But Hey, it's a start. We will chat again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, chiming in. This is key information I'm studying. Right on, Loki. Right on. And just to piggyback on what Loki's saying, he's got a book called Chicken Soup Kabbalah. I've seen it several times at the store and never got it, and I shoulda. But this is by Lon Milo DuQuette, which he's heavy too. So Lon Milo DuQuette is a good author if you can find his stuff. Dion Fortune is a good author to get her stuff. William Gray is a good author. And there's others. Oh, my bad. The Chicken Kabbalah. My bad. The Chicken Kabbalah. So, we're gonna wrap it up. We shall chat again. I don't know. Maybe when I get done working, maybe I'll go back on and I'll tell you this story about a real life Gavoric story. The Witch's Kabbalah. Okay, have to check that out. Appreciate that, Lady Al. So, hey, y'all stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Peace.